Viewer discretion advised when watching this video. I'm gonna throw out some stuff and I want you to tell me how much of it relates to you. Love and relationships are extremely important to you. Under the right circumstances, you can be incredibly extroverted, but in other times you just want to fade away in the distance and not be seen. Self-confidence is something that needs working on, and there's always things that you would like to develop on. Working in your job role at the moment, you feel very underappreciated and would love to know what else is out there. Family can be extremely difficult and trying at times, and sometimes you wish you could move away from that situation. There is a person from your past currently thinking about you. Somebody in the future will provide a lot of influential information and really help you move forward. Your friends would describe you as loyal and very caring. You can lose your temper when somebody hurts you, but you can often forgive very quickly. What I've done there is use something called Barnum statements. Now, there is a fine line when reading, so I'm talking here about the readings where you're having your fortune told, or information is being received from beyond and it's telling you things about yourself. Then the rest of the reading, predictions are made that are so far in the future that would not be something that you could validate next week, next month, even within the year, because they are so generic. So I'm going to give you an example. I've always read tarot professionally, well, for 23 years, but I had a full-time job for 18. And one of the things in an interview that I was once asked was, what was an interesting thing about me that not many people knew about? It was only my friends and family who used to do the readings for in the very beginning. And I said, oh, I'm a professional tarot reader. And this woman who was interviewing me almost climbed over the table and she told me lots of things that a reader had once told her. So it was, now bearing in mind she was in her early 20s at the time, you want to get married, you want to get married and have children and have a settled home. You will find that financial security is something that will find its way to you. You're likely to make a career move and move into a job where you're not so certain on the outcome. Getting your own home, your forever home, is incredibly important, and that will happen. Look out for the man who is going to be incredibly influential to you, who plays the guitar. There will be a period in your life where you fall out with either a family member, partner or friend, and that will have to be addressed quickly. And it went on and it went on and it went on. And she told me that 10 years after that reading, she still looked for those opportunities to validate with herself that what that reader had told her was going to come to pass. Her manager, so like the CEO of the company, was an influential man. He didn't play the guitar, he played the piano. But she was so eager to be able to work out over the years whether or not that future reading or fortune telling, future prediction reading would come to pass. What use is that? I mean, really? So she wanted to make that fit so badly. Yes, she got married. Yes, she had children. Yes, she bought a forever home, and she made loads of career changes within that period of time. And the man that she thought was influential was the CEO. None of those things can be certified, if you will, in the time of that reading or in the near future. So if you can think of times where you've had a reading like that, drop a like. Because again, I want to really push out there that it is important that a reading isn't just a series of statements. That doesn't really help us, because all the reader is essentially doing is telling you things about yourself that you already know. What do you do with that? Like, thanks, yeah, I know that. And then give them a series of predictions that there's no way that the reader could ever have any comeback, if you will, because it's so far into the future. Oh, I'm telling your fortune with the crystal ball and I see this happening and I see, but wouldn't that have just happened anyway? Or it was likely to? Rather than digging into the tarot readings where you can ask specific questions. Those of you guys who read with me know we'll dig in, we'll find out what you're here for, we'll ask good questions and we'll get the outcomes so that things actually can happen and change can be done, rather than just grabbing onto things as time goes by. And it's funny because most people have a really good understanding of tarot now, but every now and then I still get the new customer that drops in who really does think that the reading will just be an hour or 90 minutes where they can just sit back and hear all of the fortune that will come into their life in the future. But you're paying for something that you're essentially looking for those signs along the way, rather than actually getting something out of the reading. And think about that when you're scrolling, when you're hearing certain things that you're looking for, and then you hear something and you think, okay, well that then relates to me because I've just recently separated with someone and I want this person to come back, etc., etc. Just something to think about. And lastly, if you're still here on this video, well done. Must be genuinely interested. There was a study done, and it was by a guy who basically, Bertram Forer, I'm sure that's what it was off the top of my head. He basically got a cohort of students and asked them to do a personality test. Then he gave them a printout of the personality test and said, this is you, and lots of statements. What the students hadn't realised until they actually sat down and examined it, that the printout or the assessment given from that personality test had exactly the same things written on it, because they're the type of general statements that can relate to most people. If not all of them, at least a large majority of them. So just careful when you're doing your readings, guys. Just be very, very careful to ensure that you're actually getting help, guidance, like what can we do in your current period of time in order to move things forward, rather than, and that comes in the future. Just take care out there, guys. Just take care.